Right then, are you taking the bus, Lily? Lily motions to a large suitcase standing beside her. I'll have to take this with me, so I've booked a taxi. It'll meet us at the school gates in about 5 minutes. Ah, I see. Lily reaches down and feels out the handle of her suitcase. Its weight causes her some difficulty, so I quickly offer to take it myself. That is awfully kind of you, Sayo. She has no qualms about accepting, and I end up picking it up. It's not what I'd call light, but it's not exactly heavy either. I don't think I'll have too much trouble carrying it. Well, thank you then. We should hurry though. If the taxi leaves, it will take quite a while to book a new one. Are you ready, Hanako? Yeah, let's go. We rush to the gate as fast as we can, only to find that the taxi has yet to arrive. Well, nothing like a bit of exercise in the morning. The nurse told me that I should be doing that. I think he probably had other things in mind, Hisayo, and probably with more regularity. Do you intend to be helping people with their luggage every day? I guess not. Looks like we've got a bit to wait anyway. How long should we wait for the taxi before calling them again? I would say another 10 minutes, but they've never let me down before. There's probably just a little traffic. Okay then. So how long is the flight to Scotland? Well, it's a pretty long one, right? It's from Japan to Scotland, so it's forever. Kind of, you know? About 16 hours, if I remember correctly. It's a bit hard to tell with the changing time zones. So long. Or either it's a so long like a goodbye, or a so long like oh god, so long. I don't know. It's now that I realize Hanako's been unusually quiet, even for her. She doesn't handle stress well, so she's looking really uptight. Yeah, I can't imagine being on a plane for that long. Yeah, I'm assuming it's so long. Like, oh, it's so long, you know. Not so long, you know. Like a goodbye. I've only ever flown on a short family holiday up north, so it really is quite hard to fathom. If Hanako spent so much of her childhood at an orphanage, she's probably traveled very little, let alone flown. Yeah, I can imagine that taking forever. You know, the longest flight I've ever, well, we've taken 3 planes, but that was when we go to Syria before 2011. Like, my last trip was in 2010, so yeah. I've been on long flights, but, you know, not like that long, you know. Even going to Syria was pretty stressful. We had to stop at places and stuff, you know. Like, we just usually go from Florida to some place, and then to France, and then, like, you know, then to Syria. Because, you know, there is no direct flights. That's how it was back then. The good old days, you know? It's not too bad. I'll spend most of it either asleep or catching up on my English. I hardly use that here, so I need to refamiliarize myself with it a little. Yeah, she can't watch, well, I mean, she could watch movies, but it's like kind of weird how blind people would watch movies, you know? They watch it through hearing, but you get what I'm saying. Will your accent be a problem? I wouldn't worry about that too much. It may be an issue initially, but I should be fine once I get used to it. We all moved to sit down on the small bench beside the school gate in silence. Strangely enough, even though I know that Lily is going away, I can't think of anything to say to her. Lily is a reliable person, so it might be because she isn't the one that I'm thinking of most. Lily might be able to see it, but Hanako's chewing her fingernails nervously. I move to talk to her, but can hear an engine straining up the hill before I get the chance. I think the taxi's on its way. Well spotted, Hisayo. I only just heard it as well. A small wave of pride washes over me. To have noticed something at the same time as Lily must mean that I've become more aware of my surroundings. Anyway, we won't have to call the taxi company nor worry about missing Lily's plane. Once the taxi stops where we're standing, the driver rolls down a window and leans over. After confirming that yes, Lily is the same Lily Satao that booked the trip, we sort out her luggage. The driver opens the trunk of the taxi and takes Lily's suitcase, with Lily climbing into the back seat as he loads it into the trunk and slams shut. After getting back into his seat, after his seat and shutting the doors, he waits for us to say our farewells. Have a safe trip, Lily. Take care of yourself. Hanako looks understandably downcast, and that much is obvious even in her voice. Of course I will. I'll be back before long. Don't worry. There will still be another person here for you too, won't there, Hisayo? Yeah, of course. I turn and smile to Hanako, putting my hand on her shoulder. She only manages to keep eye contact with me for a couple of seconds, her cheeks red all the while before turning back to Lily. See you, Lily. Goodbye. Lily gives her farewells to the both of us with a fair measure of reluctance. Without further ado, the driver starts the engine once more, and they begin the journey down the hill and towards the airport. The two of us stand at the gates for a long time, even after they've disappeared from sight, not really knowing what to do. So what do you want to do? I don't know. Oh shit. Haha, yes. Decision time. This I'm definitely gonna save, so I'll be right back. Alrighty, so considering that we have just so much time, and honestly I feel it's not really that good to just call it a day and she goes back to her room or something like that. I feel like just to go to the city, just do something else, just do something with her. That's actually what I would want to do, especially if I have a girlfriend. That I'd honestly want to just do stuff with her, not just call it a day and go our separate ways, go back to our house or our rooms, or I guess they don't live together just yet, so they're obviously not gonna stay together at the moment. So, although to be honest, I guess going to the city is fine. I'd rather go to a park or something, just somewhere more calming. But the point is, I'd rather want to do something with her rather than just call it a day like that. So, yeah, let's do something. I mean, fuck, she's gonna be lonely and stuff. So let's occupy her mind with something to do. So, do you want to go into the city? The bus stop standing by the school gates like a mute sentinel puts a strange idea in my mind. Do you want to head into town and look for a bookshop or something? We have the rest of the day free. Oh yeah, okay, go to a bookshop, nice. It's a long shot as Hanako doesn't like going into the city. I count the fact that we managed to get her out there even when it was so dark as a small miracle, but I genuinely want to spend more time with her. Anyway, she's likely to just refuse and go back to... Okay, haha, there you go, see? Really? Really, let's go. I can't work out why Hanako has decided to agree with me, but I'm not about to ask her to change her mind. Stepping off the bus, I immediately noticed that a lot of people are around us. In hindsight, it should have been obvious. Of course, lots of people will be downtown on a Saturday afternoon. Hanako retreats close to my side, and I can feel her hand clutching my arm tightly. Her body is held against mine, and her head is bowed so low that her hat hides most of her scarring. So, where shall we go? A bookshop? Hanako's present and my other general living expenses have pretty much drained my budget, but I should be able to afford a few books. There's something I try to reserve a few funds for anyway. For a second, I think Hanako didn't hear me, but then I looked to my side and noticed her nodding almost imperceptibly. Okay, do you know of one? Actually, I do. We passed a few when Lily and I were looking for your presents. Hanako's expression clouds a fraction. I've got to remember to stop bringing up her birthday. You both spent a lot of time. Or maybe I misjudged the situation. We wanted to make sure we got the right present after all. Hanako smiles and blushes a bit. It's a small treasure when she does. Anyway, there should be a bookshop just up ahead. Do you want to check it out? Sure. The crowd starts to build as we head towards the bookshop along the raised walkways. Hanako latches her other arm onto me as well, making our progress a little slower. As we walk, the sound of the traffic makes me think of a possible distraction for her. I was wondering, Hanako, have you thought yet about when you're going to learn to drive? Driving? Yeah, you're kind of lucky in a way. There aren't a whole lot of students in Yamaku that are allowed to drive. It's not the best topic of conversation, but I want to try and distract Hanako from the situation. She's really highly strung right now. Then again, all I've really done is make her feel awkward since she's probably never thought about it. I wish I hadn't said anything. Before long, we are before one of the bookshops Lily and I passed by during our search. What kind of self-respecting bookshop closes on Saturdays? Bookshops, bookshops don't make much money anymore because of the internet. Maybe they just had to close over weekends. She seems pretty knowledgeable about technology. I guess it's a pursuit that would lend itself well to someone who enjoys solitude. I guess that makes sense. It's easier to find books online. Anyway, it looks like this idea is shot. Anything else you'd like to do? If it's not a bother, could you show me where you bought my present? Ah, there you go. Sure, not a problem. It's not far from here. I head off in the direction of the store, only half sure of its exact location. I don't want to repeat of the last time, spending half the day walking around aimlessly. Here we are, Othello's Antiques. It's small. Well, yes, it took Lily and me some time to find it. Can we go in? I don't see why not, it's open. Hanako pushes through the door and enters before me. Once again, the store is empty, save for the store owner. His face drops a little when he sees me. Oh, you're not here for a return, are you? Wait, that's not the girl you had with you last time. No, we're not here to return anything. We were just in town and wanted to have another look in here. You know, I want to point out, I was actually rewatching some of the videos from the Lily arc, and I actually found out that he did show up in the Lily arc, but it was very short. Like, he was just there when you pay for the present and then you leave, because before, like, we just paid for the doll and that's it, or the doll and the music box, and we just like went over and just paid for it and that's it. But unlike in this arc, he was much more present, hence why, you know, it's like before I didn't remember him that much because he was just there and then didn't show up again. But in this one, like, he's more present, you know what I'm saying? So just thought I'd point that out. No, we're not here to return anything. We were just in town and wanted to have another look in here. The store owner considers this for quite a long time. I guess he's not used to high school students coming to his shop on a regular basis. Might this be the friend you bought gifts for? That's right, they were presents for her. The store owner turns to Hanako, who freezes on the spot like a deer caught in the headlights. He moves to address her, but stops before doing so, looking a little taken aback. He catches himself staring and looks to the side, addressing us indirectly. His expression is awkward and tense, as is his entire body. I want to be mad at him, but I know full well that I had the same instinctive reaction when I first saw her. First surprise, then curiosity, then an awkward look away as I dealt with what I'd seen. Hanako looks less panicked than before, but I think the feeling she's giving off now is worse. It's not anger or annoyance. If anything, it's one of apology. You're lucky there, young lady, to have friends that care about you as much as they do. Thank you. If I hadn't spent so much time with Hanako, I wouldn't even have realized that she said anything. Then again, the store owner's mumble was hardly clear either, thanks in part to being directed away from us. Hanako strikes out into the store, gazing in wonder at the various items on display. She finds the doll section and spends lingering minutes studying each and every one. It's a side of Hanako I've only barely been introduced to. I was astonished when Lily said she liked dolls, and even more so to find her collection sitting on her dresser. She looks a little better now that she's distracted and out of the store owner's sight, but I'm still quite put off by the whole experience. I might have my own problems, but I've never had strangers react to me like that, as if I was something completely alien to them. This is a nice shop. Yeah, it's not what I expected. Do you want to buy something? I didn't bring any money. Well, we can always come again. Now that I know where to find it, that is. We can? Of course, we can come here as often as you like. Thank you. You don't need to thank me. I almost forgot where this place was. I don't really think either of us completely believes in what we're saying, but rather we're just repeating what we think we should say. Can we go back to the school now? Sure thing, let's go. As we leave for the bus stop, I see the store owner peek through the curtain at the back of the shop. I'm not really sure what the glance he gives to her says. It feels a bit weird, and the fact that Hanako didn't see it is both a relief and a bit frustrating. Hanako and I stopped walking once we reached the concrete area between the dormitory buildings. There was barely a word said between us on the way back from the city. Well then, goodbye. Do you want to have some tea or something? How about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly. I'm tired. Maybe later. I've got homework. She sounds a little depressed. Hanako obviously does want to do more, but I suppose she would have a bit of schoolwork to catch up on. She's missed a few days of lessons. Homework. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a stack to do as well. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. See you, Hisayo. Before I can say goodbye, Hanako has turned and begun walking towards the entrance to the female dormitory building. I look at the door she disappears through for a bit before going off towards my own dorms. Today was a tiring day. Act 4, Scars. So yeah, this is a perfect place to end it off here. That was kind of interesting though. Of course, it didn't really lead to anything, you know? Like, they just walked around for a bit, the bookstores are closed, went to the shop and like left, and Hanako was like not feeling too good and stuff. So it made me wonder if maybe it would have been better to just not go into the city and just call it off. But it's just the thing is that like I thought she'd be pretty lonely, and it would have been better if we just spent some time. But bear in mind, like all I honestly wanted to do was just take a walk in the park or something, like just relax and chill, maybe have a picnic or something like that. But you know, said take a walk in the city, so I had no choice. But it's like I thought it would be better to, you know, instead of just calling off the day after saying goodbyes and everything, just to spend time with her, like not let her feel lonely or depressed. That's hence why I chose that option. But I think it was pretty alright for what I did. Maybe not perfect, but I don't know. By the looks of it, could have been worse. But you know, I just had to. So create new save state, progress successfully saved. So yeah, I want to look at the things I've chosen. So beginning of the end, truancy. And obviously this is a new act, so I'm gonna end it off here. So just gonna go to main menu. Are you sure you want to return to the main menu? Yes. So yeah, that's everything. Obviously next week I'm not gonna do any gameplays because of that one day that is a reading day, so hence I'm not gonna go back. My lab is going to be online, because we do have in-person, not in-person. The in-person ones are for the complex ones, and the online ones are the simple ones. So yeah, I only have labs at some point in the days, but not in the next week. So Hence, because of that, I'm not gonna be there next week, and the other classes are gonna be virtual, like just virtual stuff and reading and all that stuff. So next week, no gameplays. I'll just be making parts for both Half-Life and this game. So this gameplay, I mean. So yeah, and also I'm gonna have an exam on Monday. I hope it goes well. I'm kind of nervous. It's my not calculus, differential equations. I'm definitely gonna be trying to study on the weekends, even though I don't normally do anything on the weekend. Like weekends are like my relaxing days, and only when I come back to my apartment do I do stuff. But I'm gonna have to change that because I have to do well in that second exam. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully I'll do well. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.